it's here. I thought I'd answer a few questions on this forum here. There's like been a lot of the theme shit come over and over again on the last few pages. So I thought it'd be better to do something a bit more comprehensive rather than just writing another essay about what essentially is the same thing. How to train, how to get better, why it's not your team, why it's you. So like these teams, like most people point teams and like they're the same. They're not like this team. This team, if you're pointing in this sort of team to put in for like a review, I understand it because this has no like amons. But like most of the teams that I see, like I'm trying to think of a good example. Something like this, but even better than this, like something like this, but like a better Pokemon instead of Cinderace. People will be putting it in for review, and not with these like sets. It'll be like Nasty Pod Tokis and like standard Rotom, and because obviously this is a Japanese team, so it has a few more spicy sets. And really, like when you look at these teams, like they have so many tools to succeed that really no, you can't test. Not right now. Not right now, man. They have so many tools to succeed that basically you know, like you could find a way to win every matchup. Like this team, for example, like I don't know, like even the bad matchups aren't that bad. Like there's ways to beat like every single meta Pokemon. Just don't even look at the sets, just look at the Pokemon. So like Dragapult, you have a Snorlax, for example, and a Togekiss. I'm not even gonna mention the sets. The sets don't matter. Mimikyu, you have Snorlax, you have Ferrothorn. You know, Rotom can take a hit, Togekiss can take a hit, like, and yeah, these Pokemon normally wouldn't be able to deal with +2 Mimikyu, perhaps. Well, maybe Rotom would, but Togekiss wouldn't. But then you have Dynamax as another tool on top of that. You know, like Snorlax, you have your Ferrothorn, you have Court Change, you have your own Snorlax. Like Snorlax is probably the worst S tier mon for this team. Like Togekiss and Corviknight, you have Cinderace, you have Rotom Wash. That's just to give you an example. Like I'm not even looking at the sets. The sets don't matter. It's the Pokemon, the tools that those Pokemon naturally get just by running like their most like what they generally do in the meta. So like you're already checking like the top 6 Pokemon at least somewhat by just having those Pokemon on your team. So when people can't like ask for changes to these teams, it's like, and you already have like 5 of the 6 best Pokemon or 6 of the best Pokemon in the game on your team, and you're not succeeding, it's probably not because you lack the tools to win. These Pokemon naturally get tools with their just like generalist movesets. Of course, there's more refining you can do to make your team a bit more spicy, like this. That this has interesting text like the Specs Togekiss. That is when you start getting better at team building, but you don't need this. This can be a standard Volt Switch. This can be weakness policy Togekiss. Hey man, this is not like standard as it gets. This can be like, you know, and everything else on this team is pretty standard. It's like you don't need infestation on Dragapult. This guy's got it for whatever reason. Like this Dragapult set is absolutely insane. But yeah, you don't need these techs. You can just run the most standard shit ever. Like even this is like there's another Japanese team. But look at this. This is Grail and I believe it's Oh no, it's my version of Grail and Synergy's team, which I know Grail got to like top 200 on the ladder with or something in season 2 or 3, and was showcased on Smogon. Standard sets, every single set here except Rotom. The only thing that is not standard here is the Lum Barrier on Rotom. Everything else is standard. This team is good. So when people come in and like, you could see those sets on like the Pokedex. So when people come in and say, you know, I need tweaking to my team, well, if you got these Pokemon, and it's like, it's probably you. And I don't want to say that in like a bad way, because we all need to improve, and I definitely still have problems with my gameplay, although they were a lot bigger when I couldn't acknowledge that it was me and not the team, because I used to play a lot with a lot of like maybe bad teams, and like stuff like, I don't know, I play with stuff like Mono Poison. Like, why can't I win with this team? I'd be like, if I lose, it's just the team's fault. Well, no, this team's good. It was me. And when I learned how to play better, when I learned how to macro better, then I got to a different level. So, but anyways, I want to show you guys how to practice. Hopefully I've got this set up correctly. Reconnect. So this is what I do, and hopefully it doesn't. I'm just setting up my other computer. So I have an alt. I've just made a random bunch of letters, and I challenge myself. Normally, ideally, you'd have a friend, but I don't have a friend on hand right now. I guess I could ask Tact, but like, he'd just be too impatient and shit. So I challenge myself with, like, if I'm looking to test a team or testing my gameplay, either go on the ladder, or I either go on the ladder, which is one way, on the showdown ladder specifically, or I test my team versus myself or a friend, and I see what the issues of it are. And like, I like testing against myself specifically because I can spend an hour on this. Like, if I was playing versus my friends, like, they expect you to click. So like right here, like, I look at my team, I look at his team. Look, his team looks very standard, doesn't it? That was good. That's what the sort of teams you want to be fighting when you're practicing. And you look at the team matchup. I look and I see that, okay, he only has one ghost type. Normally, a lot of meta teams have 2 ghost types. So like, there's a big difference there. So maybe one of my fighting types can put in work, like Conqueror or Corviknight. But I'll have to Conqueror or Halucha, but then I have to watch out for, because Conk or Halucha can beat all of these Pokemon. I just have to watch out for his Corviknight and Togekiss combination. I know, and Mimikyu. Like, if I was, so I'm probably going to bring Toxtricity, even though it's bad. It's not brilliant in the matchup. I need something for specifically for Corviknight, so that I can put in work with Halucha. It, like, a lot of people go, okay, this Pokemon loses to like 4 out of the 6 Pokemon, so I shouldn't use it. That is such, like, it's good for like people who start off the game. So like, it's like, and you can definitely go, okay, well, I got 2 fighting types, so he's probably not gonna bring he's probably not gonna bring you know, Snorlax and Ferrothorn. Like, Snorlax is not too good against my team. It loses to Milotic, it loses to Conqueror, and it loses to Hawlucha. He might, you know, he might like, on the other end, they might think, oh, this Pokemon is such a threat that I have to bring a Pokemon even though it's bad in the matchup. And that's something that you kind of just learn with experience. Like, this matchup, even though Toxtricity loses to Dom, loses to Mimikyu, it only beats these two, Togekiss and Corviknight. It obviously loses to Ferrothorn really hard, and loses to Snorlax. I need to bring it because I want a consistent switch into Corviknight. That's why I've got it. So, right here, I'm thinking of my lead. And I'm thinking, okay, Dom. There's like the one thing you always have to be worried about Dom. So like, I can obviously counter lead it with leading Conqueror, but if he leads Mimikyu or Corviknight, what do I do? And my solution here, I think, is not to lead Conk, because Mimikyu looks like a pretty good lead. Rather leading Type Null. Type Null is not too good in this matchup, but I hope I can break through a fighting type. Maybe I can use double fighting. See, like, I haven't tested this team at all, but like, these are like the sole questions that I'm thinking just in the team preview stage, and I think it's good to, like, for you to slow it down and not be constrained by the time or anything. Just chill and look at the team preview. So like, and maybe I'm stuck on what I should do. Let's look. I can look at what my opponent should do. So like right here, I'm thinking for my opponent's end, Mimikyu is amazing. I should bring Mimikyu for sure. Togekiss, I think I'm tempted to bring Mimikyu, Togekiss, Corviknight here. Corviknight gives a decent backbone to shit, so that I don't like randomly get swept by Hawlucha, and I can switch into Diggersby. Mimikyu here is just great because it just has great sweeping potential, and then Togekiss is like another Pokemon that can potentially sweep through. I could also and I think that was the route that I'd go. I could also bring Dom here. Dom is good, but I have to watch out for his double fighting is like really like a big problem. So like maybe leading Mimikyu. Actually, this Mimikyu is still good actually, because it only needs play rough. So something like this, Mimikyu, Togekiss, Corviknight, it looks good on that end. And I can think, okay, how do I deal with that? And then from there, I realized Toxtricity is really good, just because of the 3 he's brought. And I should probably actually I don't want to lead Toxtricity. What I want to do is get him to go into Corviknight, and then I can start putting in work with Toxtricity. So I want to lead something that doesn't lose to Mimikyu or Togekiss, but it can force him into Corviknight. So I'm thinking something like this: Hawlucha, Toxtricity, and perhaps I could use this. Like this set is weird, so like I don't want people to take advice from it. from this gold recover. Nah, it's not too useful. This is also good. Sash Diggersby I could also keep in the bag for something. So like, if you see there, just thinking I have to get the lead matchup right versus this guy to win the game, and that concluding that he's less likely to bring Dom in the lead slot. And that's just me like theory crafting it to myself. Like right here, like this is a 50-50. Like he could just attack, he could just Dynamax and click max Starfall and I die. But if he goes into Corviknight, I also lose a lot. So I'm wondering here, like, I don't see the drawback of just clicking Iron Head. I don't want to Dynamax because if he goes into Corviknight, obviously it's wasted. I don't want to risk SDing. So like here, I'm gonna Iron Head, like, and then I go onto my other monitor and go, okay, what would I do if I was in the other guy's shoes in this situation? Oh, I see. I have a berry. Like that's something that I haven't really thought about on my guy's end. So I like, maybe I can just click play rough here. So like he's gonna live with a berry. Like that's just an example, and I just die. So like I can learn from that, and maybe like if I had been thinking about stuff properly and not trying to do a stream at the same time, well, not stream, a video at the same time, then I could have potentially figured out that he needs some more, you know, he might have something like that on his Pokemon. I'm just going to click Rock Tomb here. I do expect him to go into Corviknight, because Corviknight is pretty free, but this is the situation I wanted. Maybe I should have led with Diggersby instead of nah, it's not good, because if he, on the off chance he'd led Dom, I'd have been fucked with U-turn. So like maybe that sometimes maybe like the matchup is hard. So like here, I'm wondering, like on the other end, whether he has toxicity. I think here just bulking up is fine. But that's anyways, I don't want to go into playing the whole game out because that's like kind of pointless. But I just wanted to show like what you can do and what you should be like thinking about when you're playing the game. Is like, okay, what are my three? What can he bring? You know, okay, what didn't I account for in the game? So like, yeah, in the game that I played, like practice, because I wasn't, obviously I try to act as if I don't know the opponent's sets. So like I just clicked Iron Head blindly without thinking, oh, this guy is without thinking this guy is Burberry. And the second thing was that this didn't KO Mimikyu, so it was a bad move anyways. So like then you can go into the damage calc and you go, okay, Mimikyu, you know, versus I should probably use the other one, but like whatever. Yeah, so like this adamant, it need, yeah, even adamant life orb doesn't care. Oh no, that's power herb, that's why. I'm looking at the wrong side. So that's the sort of adjustment I might make. I'll go, okay, well that didn't work out, so maybe Life Orb is better on this. And then I've learned that just from playing that game, that even though I got the Babiri wrong, that the role I saw, okay, I want this Pokemon to do this work in this matchup, and actually threaten and scare them with you. The only way I can do that is with Life Orb, or I can Dynamax. But I want the flexibility not to have to Dynamax. So yeah, this team has improved slightly because of that one practice game I played, and I've gotten, you know, if you keep doing that, you'll start thinking in a different mindset. So like, stop thinking in terms of like, okay, like Snorlax really wants the ability to hit all of these Pokemon. 3 common threats hard, and so it's not about that. It's like a lot of these answers are also like this, like, okay, you know, like, it's okay, you're doing it for coverage, but why do you want that Pokemon to be seen in that matchup? Like, okay, the purpose of Ironhead is to threaten Mimikyu with the Oko, so that I don't have to like deal with it like from below. So I need Life Orb, if that makes sense. Within that specific matchup, it has a purpose beyond, oh, this is my steel coverage on my sweeper. No, I want it to do something. Like, maybe on this I might go like, okay, bulk up, and then okay, at this EV spread I can 1v1 Iron Defense Corviknight or something like that. So like, I think when you start getting better at team building, you think more of, okay, what is this meant to do within the tool? Like this set within the team. So this set, like, I made it, even though it looks very bad, this set is meant to take advantage of people who just spam Lapras and Rotom forms, and I can light screen as they switch in, get my weakness policy, and then spam Dragon Breath. Lapras will do nothing to this Milotic. Look how Spadef it is. So that's just one example. And then I have to see, okay, does that actually work in the game, or does it not work in the game? And that's where hitting the ladder comes in. Anyways, it's like this scary face. I want to have the speed control, but without having to rely on Thunderwave, because they can have Lumberry, and I don't want people to just click Max Airstream on my Type No and become faster than my entire team. That's how you get these like sets. So then I can use this to slow Pokemon down slower than Diggersby, or slower than Toxtricity, and then hit them really hard. But yeah, I'm pretty much saying this because like I've read a lot of these posts. It's like people are giving good advice, but like it's like a lot of the advice is also like not really. It's very dependent on circumstances. You need to be a bit more flexible. It's like oh, I'm going to I like aggressive style to catching people off turn 1, off guard from turn 1, but that a lot of playing Pokemon is trying to understand what's on the opponent's team. So, going into a game, and like Gen 8 is not my specialty. I'm like a lot better at Gen 7, 6, and 5 because that's what I've been playing most recently. But like going in and understanding your opponent's team, understanding their tools, and even to an extent scouting out what they've got. Like, yeah, I could, I had the Halucha versus Mimikyu matchup. In that game I played, I was like, I could Dynamax turn 1 and go for Max Steel Spike, which covers like pretty much everything. Max Steel Spike, or I could go for Max Airstream as well. You can go for Max Airstream, it covers everything, but if you switch into Corviknight, I'm like boned. So you need to think. Yeah, is this like this guy says, oh wow, yeah, someone can Dynamax, or not even Dynamax Protect, but like, what if they just click Yawn against your Snorlax? They just waste your entire Dynamax. Like this is like, oh, you have a Dynamax and non-Dynamax setup. The reason this team doesn't work is it's not flexible enough. You don't think of things that way. It's more, okay, in this specific situation, I can win the game using this tool, and how to get into that situation. I mean, this is flexible, but it's too linear. You have to lead. Like Whimsicott is pretty useless if it's not led. So you're like Darm plus Snorlax is fine. But yeah, like Banded Darm, you need to have support around. So this is like going to be a very linear team. So yeah, pretty much. I hope that helped a bit in terms of like, just analyzing your own gameplay is really important, and then like saving your own replays. That's why I recommend people play on Pokemon Showdown. Yeah, definitely you can play on cartridge and all, that's fine. I'm not a cartridge player, even though I play BSS. I play primarily on Pokemon Showdown because it offers you more games. If you need to just spam games to like get accustomed to a tier, like I can go into the Battle Stadium Seals and just like click, and I'll have a game within 5 seconds. It'll take me about 5 minutes, and I'll be on to the next game. Whereas on cartridge, that's at least 3 times as long, that process. And yes, you can save your replays. Like I can go back into my replay scouter. It's like, I can see my my games, past tournament games that I can go through, and it's like, okay, like I can see where I misplayed and where I had to play differently from my opponent. So like here, like I know the team composition is Sasslando. Like I don't get why he doesn't click Stealth Rock here. That's just an example. But yeah. I hope that helps, because I'm just like kind of rambling on now. And yeah.